shares soaring to new highs today. Here with that and the other stories we missed are Jonathan Honig, John Layfield, Tracy Burns and Peter Schiff. Jonathan, what about Apple?
Well, amazing stock, Stuart. I mean, this Apple computer was a $3 stock 10 years ago, but today it traded over $200 a share for the first time. I mean, this stock has just been absolutely on fire. It's up over 130% this year, but I think a lot of what's going on is this end-of-year window dressing. I mean, you've looked like a genius if you've owned Apple, and I think a lot of the portfolio managers are buying it right now just to kind of have it on their books at the end of the year so they can say, oh, yeah, we owned Apple Computer, because the stock has really been one of the few major winners this year.
It really worries me, the idea of actually buying it at $200 a share, because it's got a kind of a dot-com feel all about it from 1999, don't you think?
Yeah, but then again, you just bought a computer, right? So you're kind of late to the computer craze in general.
Thank you for reminding our viewers that I only got my first computer period about 6 months ago. Thank you, Jonathan. We got a lot of emails on that one.
Full disclosure. But the stock has been quite strong, and I do think there's a lot of window dressing going on, but I wouldn't fight it moving into 2008 either.
All right, fair enough, Jonathan. Appreciate it. How about you, Tracy? What's with this about Toyota?
Toyota came out today and said they were on pace to be the #1 automaker, basically taking over GM's hot spot. The problem, though, is they set expectations very high for themselves. In order to get that top spot, they'll have to retain, their 15% sales share here in the U.S., and we all know U.S. auto sales are lagging desperately. They're going to have to gain share in China, and right now GM and Volkswagen pretty much have the bulk of the shares of the sales in China right now, so they're going to have to overtake them. Plus, they have their home sales in Japan. Japan, the economy is struggling, not to mention Nissan and Honda are holding their own, so there's a lot of obstacles for Toyota to pass before they can become #1.
That's not like Toyota. They don't set goals that are very difficult to hit. They don't do that.
Agreed.
Why this time?
I don't know. Clearly there's this whole, and it helped the stock tremendously, this whole notion of being #1 and pretty much taking our auto dealers out of the picture.
Did it help the stock?
Sure did.
How much?
Not a lot.
But it went up.
But it went up.
And it's at not a high, but it's way up there, is it?
It's up there.
And you sound skeptical. You don't think they can do it.
I'm very skeptical. I am. Those are 3 big bullet points they have to meet. That's a big checklist.
Would you buy General Motors because you think Toyota can't be #1?
No.
All right, let's move on. Peter Schiff, what did we miss today?
Well, I think the big story was in the soybean pits. I mean, look at soybean prices. They're over $12 a bushel. This is a 34-year high. We're going to have beans in the teens probably within the first couple of weeks of the new year, and they might not stay in the teens. They could go higher than that. And soybeans are very inflation-sensitive commodity, and I think this is an indication that this problem is going to get a lot worse. People are ignoring how bad inflation is, but you can really see what's going on. If you look in these ag pits, also, oil was up $2 today, gold was up $15. Commodity prices are on the rise because inflation is out of control.
We are heading for depression, are we not? And of course, we missed that one today, but I'm still with you, Peter. Go ahead. Answer my point. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's going to be an inflationary recession because we're going to have both. You remember the 1970s, Stuart.
Yes,
Except
I do.
It's just going to be a lot worse. We're going to have higher inflation and a worse economy. We're just in bigger financial trouble. We've created much more money in this decade than they did in the 1960s. We have bigger imbalances, and so we have a bigger price to pay for all that.
All right, John Layfield, is there anything positive that we missed today?
It's Chicken Little being played by Peter Schiff. The sky is falling. No, look, Jonathan's right about Apple. It is window dressing right now, but you still have 10 million iPods sold. You have 6 out of 10 consumers estimate to buy gift cards. 10% more cash on balance sheets for consumers year over year. You're going to see a January pop in retail. The consumer is going to keep this thing afloat. I don't see us heading into recession based upon the American consumer.
But John, that's very interesting because we did have someone on the Fox Business Network earlier who said, look, this is a new paradigm in retailing because of gift cards. It's spread out the entire retailing season and given you a shot in the arm in January, which we didn't have last year. Has it really changed things that much?
I think it has changed, but not that much that it's a complete new paradigm. I think you are seeing the shift change. Look, Peter is definitely right about housing. He's right about inflation. But the one thing the consumer is, they haven't lost their jobs completely. This consumer still has the ability to keep us out of recession if they are willing to spend. They're like banks right now. They've got money, but they're not spending it. We are seeing a slowing. I don't think that says we're in a recession.
But remember, by spending money, all they're doing is...
Hang on, but to John's point, they're spending money on just different things. Activision,
That's
the
right.
company that makes video games, hit an all-time high today. People were out in full force buying those kinds of things. Best Buy did very well this season. Why we're buying tech? Maybe we don't need sweaters.
Remember,
Maybe we don't want to buy
spending,
sweaters.
all this spending is going to make the recession
I've got
worse.
to tell you, Peter, we are not going to go back to being a primarily manufacturing society. It ain't going to happen.
Well, then we're not going to be able to buy anything because no one's going to sell to us. We can't consume if we don't produce. That's just how economics work. All this spending is going to make the recession worse. We're borrowing money from abroad to buy imported products.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are all